Every character in Pulp Fiction has their own unique charisma, but the one who left the strongest impression on me was Jules.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny.
His transformation from a professional hitman to a man determined to change his life is at the very least fascinating.
If I was you.
Die, you motherfucker!
In this video, I'll try to figure out why Jules made this decision. Was it spontaneous? Why does he keep insisting it was a miracle, that God stopped the goddamn bullets?
Or in a jailhouse with the cops.
We should be fucking dead, my friend. What happened here was a miracle.
Where does the Bible quote he recites actually come from?
And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
And what about those bullet holes already on the wall before the guy even starts shooting?
Marvin! I'd knock that shit off if I was you.
Was that on purpose, or just a classic continuity error? Let's break it down. One of the things I love most about Pulp Fiction is how rewatchable it is. You can watch it over and over and still find new things you missed. Take the scene where Jules and Vincent go to visit the guys who owe money.
Count me up there.
3 or 4.
Best count that guy?
Not sure.
They stand outside the door. Jules speaks for a bit.
7:22 in the a.m.
No, ain't quite time yet. Come on, let's hang back.
Then they walk in.
It's not a date. It's definitely not a date.
At first glance, everything seems normal, but if you watch closely, something feels off. They didn't even knock on the door. The door just opens.
Hey, kids.
So 2 options. Either the guy inside heard them and opened the door, or he was expecting them at a very specific time. That's when it all makes sense. Remember when Vincent says,
Best count that guy?
Not sure.
now we understand the reason they waited. Marvin, who works for Marcellus Wallace, was supposed to open the door exactly at 7:25.
7:02 in the a.m.
No, ain't quite time yet. Come on, let's hang back.
It also explains why Vincent asks Marvin about the guy in the bathroom.
Why the fuck didn't you tell us somebody was in a bathroom? Did you forget that someone was in there with a goddamn hand cannon?
And why they make Marvin sit in the back seat while they take the front. If he wasn't one of them, Vincent would have sat with him to keep an eye on him.
That's all.
I don't give a damn if he does.
Marvin, what do you make of all this?
Now, here's another theory. Maybe Marvin was trying to set them up. That would explain why someone was hiding in the bathroom with a gun, and why Marvin didn't say anything about it, and why Marvin stood in the corner, so he wouldn't be in the line of fire. We don't know much about Jules. He probably spent time in prison.
Okay, gentlemen, you've both been to county before, I'm sure.
His girlfriend is a vegetarian. He wears a classic black suit, white shirt, and dark tie. The same look as the guys in Reservoir Dogs. It's a nod to French noir, where the contrast between black and white was everything. People often think he and Vincent wear the same suit, but that's not true. Jules' suit is likely polywool twill. It doesn't wrinkle and always looks sharp. Vincent's, on the other hand, seems to be linen, light and great for heat, but it wrinkles easily. That's why Vincent looks more relaxed and a little sloppy, which fits, since he's a drug user. Jules also wears a gold bracelet on his left wrist and a ring on his right pinky, and a pendant with the letter J. He uses a Star Model B pistol with pearl grips. It looks like a Colt 1911, but it's cheaper to make and easier to maintain, but still very reliable. His whole vibe screams retro 60s and 70s. Even his car, a Chevrolet Nova, was made between 1962 and 1979.
It's a 1974 Chevy Nova.
The Afro hairstyle, especially popular among African Americans, was one of the bright trends of the time. That wasn't just a style, it was part of a cultural movement. It meant pride, identity, a rejection of European beauty standards. Jules, unlike Vincent, doesn't smoke or do drugs. He watches what he eats.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
He doesn't eat pork, and his girlfriend's a vegetarian.
I can't usually get them because my girlfriend's a vegetarian.
He's also superstitious and a little religious too.
Jesus Christ.
Don't blaspheme.
God damn it,
I said
Jules.
don't do that.
It is for this reason that he has chosen a passage from the Bible to read to everyone he sends to the afterlife.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny.
It is part of his theatrical performances.
Come on, let's get into character.
By the way, as for the text, I think you know that this is not an actual Bible passage. Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 17, contains a small fragment of this text, but as a whole, there is no text there in the way Jules declares it to be. It is widely believed that this verse based on the biblical passage was invented by Tarantino, but this is not the case. In fact, it is taken with minimal changes from the 1973 movie Kiba's Bodyguard.
The path of the righteous man.
The path of the righteous man.
Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill.
Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill.
Great vengeance and furious anger.
Great vengeance upon them with furious anger.
When I lay my vengeance upon thee.
When I shall lay my vengeance upon them.
Tarantino is a big fan of Sonny Chiba, who played the lead in that movie. And it is he who utters the dialogue.
And they shall know that I am Chiba, the bodyguard.
He later invited him to the set of the movie Kill Bill. A key moment in the development of the character is the bullet episode, and there is one inconsistency with this scene. If you look closely, the bullet holes are already in the wall, before the guy even shoots.
Marvin! I'd knock that shit off if I was you.
Die, you mother!
Which begs the logical question, is this a movie gaffe or an elaborate detail? In this regard, there is one theory that the gun in the hands of the attacker was loaded with blank cartridges, which is understandable if we remember that the characters are in San Fernando, not far from Hollywood, the heart of the movie industry.
Just take it to a friendly place, that's all.
This is the valley, Vincent. Marcellus ain't got no friendly place.
In addition, it is noticeable that the recoil of the gun, given its size, is practically absent,
Die, you mother!
which also encourages the idea of blank cartridges. Then it is quite logical to assume that the bullet holes on the wall could be the result of shots from Vincent's gun, who for some reason preferred not to participate in this performance and pointed his barrel at the wall. But in the next shot, we see Vincent shooting directly at Brett. This raises the question of the origin of the 6 bullet holes on the wall, because there were none originally there.
How you boys doing? Hey, keep chilling.
So even though this would be a very nice version that would easily explain Jules's miracle, everything points to a classic case of movie blunder. Jules gives the impression of a rather sensible person, but at the same time, she shows a tendency to so-called magical thinking. Magical thinking is a cognitive process in which a person attributes a supernatural relationship between actions, events, and their outcomes, without regard to natural laws or logical explanations. This thinking is based on the belief that thoughts, words, or rituals can directly or indirectly influence or change the external world. For many, magical thinking is a kind of support that allows their worldview to remain coherent and unbreakable. Jules finds it easier to believe that a higher power can stop bullets than to accept the chaos of coincidence, where any tiny detail, like a forgotten gun in Butch's house, or a safety left off a pistol, can change everything.
I mean, do you think that God came down from heaven and stopped?
Believing in divine intervention and a greater plan is much more comforting. It helps him maintain a sense of inner peace and order. Living in a world ruled by chaos, where you have so little control and could die from pure chance, is a disturbing idea. It's more bearable to build a worldview based on certain rules, even if those rules aren't based on evidence, because they help you cope with fear.
I know we was lucky.
No. That shit wasn't love.
It's telling that Jules saw divine intervention when the bullets missed him and Vincent, but didn't see it when his partner's gun suddenly went off. That's the nature of magical thinking. People notice facts that support their worldview and conveniently ignore the ones that don't. You can see this mindset even in how Jules eats. For instance, he avoids pork.
Want some bacon?
No, man, I don't eat pork.
Are you Jewish?
No, I ain't Jewish. I just don't dig on swine, that's all.
Because he believes pigs are filthy animals.
Pigs sleep and root and shit. That's a filthy animal. I ain't eating nothing ain't got sense enough to disregard its own feces.
As if their lifestyle somehow transfers to him through the meat, which makes no sense. When Vincent tries to challenge his reasoning,
So by that rationale, if a pig had a better personality, he would cease to be a filthy animal. Is that true?
Jules simply shuts the conversation down.
Well, we have to be talking about one charming motherfucking pig.
If you've ever tried to argue with someone who thinks like that, you know logic rarely works. They'll accept the most complex, irrational explanations if it confirms their beliefs, and reject the simplest truths if those don't fit their inner picture of the world.
About the miracle we witnessed.
Miracle you witnessed.
And when their arguments run out, they turn from logic to emotion or personal experience.
Now, whether or not what we experienced was an according to Hoyle miracle is insignificant. What is significant is I felt the touch of God.
Jules says he felt the touch of God. It's a difficult claim to argue with because there's no way to verify or document whether such a touch ever occurred. Maybe that's also why he wears a necklace with the letter J, a sort of talisman perhaps. In some way, we all do this. Some people don't wear seatbelts because if it's your time to go, you'll go. Or they believe someone will get what's coming to them because what goes around comes around. A world governed by unseen forces and cosmic justice is just easier to live in. You can try to control every little thing, but deep down, we all know how much of life is beyond us, and that's hard to accept. At the same time, Jules' decision to quit the game wasn't entirely spontaneous. Think back to his conversation with Vincent, when Vincent talks about Amsterdam.
If you get stopped by a cop in Amsterdam, it's illegal for them to search you. I mean, that's a right that cops in Amsterdam don't have.
And Jules replies,
Oh man, I'm going. That's all it is to it. I'm f***ing going.
that moment suggests he'd been thinking about leaving for a while. He just hadn't found a reason big enough to act until now. His friend Jimmy is someone he trusts enough to show up with a dead body.
What you doing?
If Jimmy's ass ain't home, I don't know what the we gonna do, man, because I ain't got no other partners in 818.
That alone hints Jimmy may have once been in the same criminal world and managed to get out.
Jimmy, yo, how you doing, man? It's Jules. Just listen up, man. Me and my homeboy in some serious fucking shit, man. We're in a car. We gotta get off the road pronto.
They even joke in a similar way.
Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.
He's bald. Did you notice a sign in the front of my house that said dead nigger storage?
Then why you try to fuck him like a bitch, Brett? He didn't. I didn't. Why?
Cause it ain't there, cause storing dead niggers ain't my fucking business.
Yes, you did, Brett. And Marcellus Wallace don't like to be fucked by anybody except Mrs. Wallace.
It all suggests a shared past. To Jules, Jimmy might be proof that leaving is possible, that a normal life is still within reach. Jules recited that Bible passage over and over to his victims, probably imagining himself as some kind of divine retribution. But he was beginning to realize it was all a lie, that awareness had been growing in him for a while, waiting for a trigger, and it was precisely these very same missed bullets that became the trigger. Jules is the kind of anti-hero I'd confidently call one of the most important characters in Pulp Fiction. Through him, we see that even in a world full of chaos, change is possible. We can debate whether what happened was a miracle or not. We can question Jules's reasoning, but one thing is clear. His decision was the right one. Vincent, his partner, changed nothing and learned nothing, and he was shot by Butch. How long would it have been until another random moment caught up with Jules too? That's a rhetorical question. Jules's arc opens a door to understanding the deeper meaning of the film. Jules goes through a profound inner transformation, from a man steeped in violence to someone searching for meaning and a new path. His character stands out for a kind of emotional and philosophical depth rarely seen in cinema. In this story of two partners, Vincent and Jules, a surreal experience pushes one to radically change his life, while the other stays exactly the same. Thanks to the film's non-linear timeline, we already know what those choices led to, and how it all ended for each of them.